Outside of the Denver Broncos, the Seattle Seahawks are the hottest team remaining in the playoffs. The Seahawks have won 6 straight, 5-1 against the spread in those games. They go on the road this week to face the number 1 seed in the NFC, the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta is currently installed as a 1-point favorite on BETDAQ, 45.5 the total in this game. Now, the fact that Atlanta has a better record and they're playing at home, yet they're only a 1-point favorite, tells you all you need to know. A lot of people, if not most people, think the Seahawks are just the better team right now, and it's easy to see why people feel that way. Not only has Seattle been beating everybody recently, they've been beating most people bad. The last 4 games of the regular season, Seattle averaged 42 points per game, and their opponent scored a combined 40 points. So what's really happened is the Seattle offense has caught up to their defense, because their defense has been dominant all season. They lead the NFL in points per game allowed, only allowing 15.3 points per game. But the offense over the last month and a half has come to life, and it seems to be because they've given rookie quarterback Russell Wilson some more freedom. He's been running the read option more. He's been throwing the ball downfield a little more. And the results, obviously, have been extremely positive. All that being said, I think it's time we take a couple of steps back on the Seattle Seahawks, at least as it relates to this week. Listen, I know all the positives about Seattle. I just went through a couple of them. Russell Wilson's been playing great as a rookie. They have maybe the best defense in the NFL. One of the top 2 or 3 running backs in the NFL, even though sometimes he's not given that credit, in Marshawn Lynch, and a great run-blocking offensive line. I mean, Seattle's an excellent team, no doubt about it. That being said, they're a much worse team or a much different team on the road than they are at home. They were the best home team in the NFL this year, 8-0 at home, 7-1 against the spread, all 5 of their losses coming on the road. Now, I know they did win a road playoff game last week against the Washington Redskins, but Washington was shorthanded in that game. I mean, I'm not making excuses here. I mean, I lean towards the Seahawks in the game, but if you watch that game, Robert Griffin's knee injury clearly bothered him throughout the game before the knee finally went out at the end of the game. And Washington's offense, because of that, was not the same Washington offense we've seen throughout the year. Now, no doubt Seattle's defense should be given some credit for that, and the Seahawks played very well after going down 14-0. But just because they were able to beat Washington by 10 points on the road last week doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be able to go on the road and beat this Atlanta Falcons team. Remember, Atlanta is a great team. 13-3 on the year. I know they weren't playing their best football at the end of the season, but don't confuse them with the Houston Texans. It's not like they totally collapsed at the end of the year. They were 2-2 in the month of December. They've had a week off now. They have a good defense themselves. A lot of people don't know that. The Falcons' defense is underrated. They're actually 5th in the NFL in points allowed, only allowing 18.7 points per game. Now, people do know about their offense. One of the best passing attacks in the NFL. Matt Ryan throwing to that wide receiver tandem of Roddy White and Julio Jones, maybe the best tandem of wide receivers in the league. Don't forget about Tony Gonzalez, the veteran tight end, who catches plenty of balls for this offense as well. Now, they have become more of a pass-first offense, and this Dirk Cutter's first year as offensive coordinator, Mike Mularkey, the former offensive coordinator there, was a little more balanced. He liked to run it a little more with Michael Turner. Falcons actually were 29th in the NFL in rushing offense this year, so they just don't run the ball that often, but they pass the ball so well, Matt Ryan throwing for 280 yards a game, that they really haven't needed to. Again, they've won 13 out of their 16 games this season. And Matt Ryan has been great at home ever since he's been in Atlanta. 33-5 is his record as a starter at home. I mean, that is eye-popping. Now, we all know the Atlanta Falcons, the only thing separating them from being talked about as an elite team, the only thing separating Matt Ryan from being talked about as an elite quarterback is postseason success. The Matt Ryan, Mike Smith Atlanta Falcons are 0-3 in the postseason, including an ugly loss last year on the road against the New York Giants. But, you know, to me, that would make me more likely to bet on the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, unless you think that these guys are just chokers and somehow they've played much worse in the postseason than they've played throughout the regular season, I'm not sure that's the case. Last year, if you remember, they weren't playing very well towards the end of the year. The New York Giants were on fire. They went on the road and got beat by a better team. This year, 13-3, they've had a week off, facing a team in the Seattle Seahawks, playing their 2nd consecutive road game on the other side of the country, playing a rookie quarterback. I don't know. To me, this really sets up for an Atlanta play, and Seattle has been a popular public bet this week out in Vegas, not quite as popular as the Green Bay Packers or the New England Patriots, who have been the 2 most popular public bets of the week, but most of the money has been coming in on the Seattle Seahawks. Again, I understand that because of their recent play, but I'll put it to you this way. Seattle playing a rookie quarterback, their second straight road game across the country, facing a veteran team hungry for some postseason success, coming off a bye week. As good as Russell Wilson is, I mean, Matt Ryan's clearly going to be the best quarterback on the field in this game, and I think he's going to act like it. I expect Ryan to have a big game against this tough Seattle secondary, and I think the Atlanta Falcons are going to win this game. This is actually my favorite bet of the week. The more I think about this game, the more I like it. As a matter of fact, I think Atlanta is a dark horse to win the Super Bowl right now. They might not be the best team in the NFL, but all they need to do to advance to the Super Bowl is beat Seattle this week and then win another home game next week against either San Francisco or Green Bay. And keep in mind, if the Falcons do advance to the Super Bowl, one of the teams they might play, the Denver Broncos, they've already beaten this year. So Atlanta, we wrote some about that early this week on the site. I think they might be a good Super Bowl value right now, and I do like them this week, -1 against the Seattle Seahawks.